Claire, and my mentor is Ricardo. So today the project I will be presenting is called UX for AI, and the project has challenged me to design clarity in an age of AI overload. So, oops, sorry, no, there we go. Um, AI at the moment is just extremely prevalent, and it's something that's been going on for the last couple of years, last couple of months, where a new AI tool is being launched almost every single day. And I'm pretty sure every single one of us is familiar with the frustration of finding an AI tool that works for your workflow. So that is where UX for AI comes in. So UX for AI is a curated aggregation website for AI tools that are specifically made for designers. And it's supposed to help designers make a decision supported by peer insights and reviews. But on the other hand, it's also supposed to give vendors a platform to promote AI tools and also to get feedback back directly from users. So like I've mentioned, there is a information overload on AI tools, and my main goal is to minimize that overload. And yeah, like I said, peer insight reviews are key here, and also giving AI tool vendors a platform for marketing. So in order to even tackle this project, I needed to understand how are people even finding and choosing their AI tools. What challenges are they facing when it comes to adopting a new AI tool into their workflow? And what information, what structure is key in making a confident decision? And how do I balance the transparency and the monetization without losing integrity? So my research methods for this project were competitor analysis, user personas, surveys, user testing, affinity mapping, value effort matrix, and I also used ChatGPT and Velocity as supporting AI tools for my research. And I will now walk you through my research and also explain in every step how my research has affected my design um, process and the outcome of my design. So I first off started out with a competitors audit. So I needed to know who are my competitors, how are they solving the problem, what are they doing well, what is not going so well, and what can I learn from that? So one thing straight off, it kind of like proved my hypothesis of the information overload. So one thing all of them, or almost all of them, had in common were repeating components, which is not exactly surprising, but I'll be referring to them as tool guides throughout my presentation. And on the right-hand side, you have a example of what I'm talking about. So this one specifically is from Futurepedia. So another thing, all of the aggregation websites that I've looked at had in common were they were all sorting their tools into different categories. And almost all of them used some kind of tag system to make finding and choosing a tool a little bit easier. One thing that kind of like caught my attention in a negative way was the dense lists that they were like presenting you with. So it was very shopping list like. And another thing was that the quality of reviews was very inconsistent, and also the frequency in which directories are being updated was very infrequent, which at the speed that AI tools are being launched is kind of like a must have. That is like as like the frequency works. So my second step was to start a survey, figure out how are people finding their AI tools, what are they like, what challenges are they facing, and what information is it that they're looking for. So again, this proved my hypothesis of the information overload. Um, the majority of people are looking for peer reviews when they're choosing a tool, and the second most important one was articles and blogs. And the most important information people were looking for was pricing and like the key feature that the tool could provide. And this kind of left me with just like a list of raw data that's not very scannable. Um, Also uh, not particularly aesthetic either. So I tried to combine the findings of both of my research of the competitors audit and my survey, and I came up with my own tool card. So I tried to make this as scannable as possible. So you have your name there, whether or not something's premium, the rating, tags, and key features and summary. And on the very top, you have a sponsor tag, kind of like that ties back into the trust and monetization part of things, which I'm going to explain in a little bit. My next step was user testing. So I needed to test my prototype. So for that, I had 6 people, and like I mentioned before, Velocity, which is an AI that can do user testing. And it was task-based. I asked people after the task a couple of interview questions, and my main finding was that people really wanted to see more about the pricing, and also one very important thing was the number of reviews. So you might ask yourself, okay, what did that look like? We've only seen the tool card so far. So here's like a screenshot of the tool directory. And you might think, oh, okay, this is still a little bit cluttered and like visually not exactly clean. So I went back, I used my key findings and I iterated on my tool card, but that didn't solve the information overload issue the way I wanted it to. So I went back in, I did another survey, kind of like figuring out, pinning down what exactly is it that people are looking for, and asking more specific questions. So with that, I found out, again, pricing and reviews and number of reviews were really important. And like the least important was like vendor information. And I turned this into another tool card that it gives you less information, but with the option of having a drop down that gives you the key features if you're more interested in that tool. And then I turned this into a high fidelity prototype and tested this in a second user testing iteration, and it was very positive, with the exception of a few slight, like minor issues. So at this stage, I would like to show you my prototype and walk you through it very, very quickly. Yeah, perfect. So this is the landing page. On the very top on the left, you can jump straight into searching if you already know what you're looking for. Then you're being met with kind of like new tools that are recently being launched, a category, then articles. I'll come back to that in a little bit as well, and newsletter for vendor marketing. So my main focus is right now the design tool directory. So you have on the very top your search bar, on the left categories, and you also have filter options here and the option to sort those filters by either pricing, how to know. And here you have another example of how that reduces the visual clutter by not being able to see everything at once and having the option of just dropping it down. So I would also like to walk you through um, how I broke down the tool itself. So I used 4 different categories here, which is features, pricing, reviews, and similar tools. So in the features, it gives you a very quick summary of what is that tool, what does it do. It gives you 3 main key features and then a pros and cons list of what to help you decide on whether or not to choose that tool or not. Then in pricing, there is a price breakdown, gives you the key differences between each plan. And then you have the review. That's where the community aspect of things comes back in. You have a performance breakdown, the option to review it, and also the option to interact with people who've had similar experiences with a tool and commented on it. And as you can see here, this is kind of like a verification icon, and that's also something that I will be talking again. Sorry, I know I'm over the time. So very quickly, you have the a tool comparison here as well, giving you strengths and weaknesses of the tool. and 3 options that are a good substitute for what you're looking at the moment now. So I'm almost done, I promise. Fairly early on in my research, I needed to narrow down the scope of my project, and I had to I came up with a value effort matrix that helped me focus on that information overload issue. But I also thought about where can I take this project later on? How far could this go? So there are a couple of ideas that I came up with, and one thing I'd really like to do is to work more on the community aspect of this website, this hub, with, for example, like the verified users. So okay, the person who commented on this knows what you're talking about, and they're leaving a high quality review. So I also thought about the monetization of that website. So one thing would be memberships, for example, but also we could do prompt-driven reviews for data collection for vendors that they would be paying for, and then also to give an incentive for users to actually go and do the prompt-driven reviews. There was the idea of implementing a token system, for example, for writing an article or a review, and then you can later on trade those in for affiliate links, or for a 3-month free trial of a product that you always wanted to try out, for example. So one thing that I've also been tasked with was to come up with a placeholder website, as this website is already live, but there's basically nothing there. So hopefully this, my design will be live sometime in the next year. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions or dive deeper into certain aspects of my presentation. Thank you.
That was amazing, Claire. Thank you so much. We already have Alessia raising her hand.
Yeah. Claire, this is the first time that I'm actually seeing the prototype that you've done, and it's an incredible work. The UI is astonishing, it's beautiful. And it's clear that you have really worked through the process really well, with really trying to understand what you were chasing, and like getting to the answer that you needed, and trying to find different ways of reaching that. So even like at a certain point you said, I did a survey, I did a usability test, and after that I actually discovered I needed something more. I wasn't getting what I needed, right? So that's really precious, and it's important in this kind of projects, and it's really amazing work.
Thank you so much.
From my side, just a small thing that I noticed. I mean, it's such a great job that I don't really have anything big, right? But in the prototype, you were showing, by the way, again, an amazing prototype, really. You were showing the features and weaknesses and so on, right? The cons, the pros, etc. And my question for you would be, who would be deciding what are the pros and cons of each individual AI?
Well, yeah. So I have thought about this, and also discussed it with Ricardo before. So when it comes to, because this is supposed to be a curation of AI tools, so it's not just every single AI tool that's out there, but just like the good ones, the really good ones. But to choose which ones those are, you'd have to write an algorithm for it. So that would be kind of like outside my decision and like my technical abilities. And I think when it comes to like writing that article, that algorithm, and figuring out what tools to use, you would also need to implement kind of like an algorithm to decide these kind of things. And then later on adjust the, probably adjust it with using those reviews that you're getting from verified users, especially that would be especially possible if you were to implement the prompt driven reviews.
Yeah, now that's a really well thought process there, Claire, especially considering the fact that you were promoting this system as being one of the, based on the one of the needs of the users, being like a peer reviewed type of system. So like I was really impressed with it, and I saw like the reviews, which is important. But then I was also wondering, like, okay, so if we have the reviews, what is, like, how's it coming out, these pros and cons, like are they coming from the reviews or not? So that's really a really well thought process of actually including the reviews as well. It made me think a bit of like the reviews of Amazon, where there is actually the AI tool who takes out pretty much everything and makes a summary of that and saying, okay, so this is what people are saying, pros and cons. So that's really good. So again, like nothing more from my side, Claire. Amazing work. It's really, you can see everything, from A to Z, a very finished project. So it's amazing. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much for your feedback there, Alessia. Hannah, do you want to go next?
Yeah, of course. Well done, Claire. I think this project is a bit of a mammoth one, and any of us here, as product designers, could spend months figuring out what you've done. It's huge. So the amount of work that you've managed to get done in the time frame for this program is really amazing. I've seen this before in 2 breakout rooms, so it's really nice to be able to kind of come back to a project I'm semi familiar with and feedback on it. Val, I don't know if that was intentional, but it's definitely yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I kind of thought it might have been, but like I think that's really great, because I've seen the development, and even in your presentation skills and your storytelling, I think in one of the breakout rooms, Peter and I gave you that as a piece of feedback, and it's so much clearer, your relationship between your research and your design decisions in your presentation tonight, which is really great to see, because I think that was something that we knew you'd done the research, but you weren't getting it across as well as we knew you could, and you've really nailed it tonight. I can see, even in your slide you had where it had kind of the list of the things you've changed in your prototype iterations. I think that was a really amazing way to visualize it, because you can't always tell when you have 2 side-by-sides of a prototype, but you listing it out on the side was, I think, really smart. And the little accordion moment in the tool cards I really liked as well. I think, you've done an amazing job, and your UI is like very, very advanced in terms of like how finessed it is and how clean it is. So I think really well done. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was a great feedback. Thanks a million, Hannah. Dave, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, Claire. How are you? Well done. Congratulations.
Hi, thank
that
you.
was really good. I love the title screen, that kind of orange shape. I don't know where you got that, but it looks really cool. The thing I love about this is that this is a tool that I really want, because I'm constantly tool chasing and getting nowhere, and it's very frustrating. So I'd love to see this come to reality.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. I thought your research was very good. I love the way you kind of listened to people. You did a bit of prototyping, you did some usability testing, and then you kind of pivoted a little bit then after that, which is always really good to see. And just to echo what Hannah said about like you did listen to the research, and that comes through in your design decisions. It's very clear that you're actually taking everything on board. There's a good kind of narrative there to highlight that. I thought the UI was really strong. I thought there's a few little tweaks maybe you could look at in the UI. I thought there's a little bit of an overload of cards maybe in the UI. So the cards for the products are fine, but then you have cards for other types of content. It just gets a bit cardy maybe. And there was tags on the screen there for like beginners, sort of designers. You could probably make them a little bit bigger just to fit the words. And just on your sort by on your desktop, there's a little sort by drop down thingy. There could be affordance on that. It was just a word. It could be made more like a button or whatever. Just that's tiny stuff.
I just wanted to say, so I have tested this prototype, the half fidelity prototype, and a lot of people have pointed out exactly the same things that you've just said, and I have it all written down. I have the notes for it. Unfortunately, for this presentation, I wasn't able to finish up the prototype. So all very valid points, and I'm already aware of them, and I already planned on implementing them, but I unfortunately did not have time. But yeah,
fair enough. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. No, I'm. This is small stuff, really. I think I just think it'd be worth going that extra bit to get the UI really sharp, because it is very strong. And even as Hannah said, the little accordion thing, animation there, that looks really great. So, I'd be interested to hear how you got on with the Velocity AI as well, and that's up another day's conversation, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can fairly quickly sum it up. So I used Velocity, but I I could only use the free version of it. So that is very limited, and it will only let you simulate one, like do one simulation at a time. So it's basically one person is testing it. Whereas if you were to pay for it, you could be doing like 1,000 simulation, where it's like equivalent to testing 1,000 people, if that makes sense. And it looks at like completely different ways to get to like a certain page.
Okay.
But the velocity is very, very expensive. So I was only able to test it out like with like the one simulation. So it was really fun to play with. Definitely suggest that you try it out. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But to really get value out of it, you'd have to be paying for it, which for me and for this project just was not in the resources.
Yeah. And it'd be worth testing it against real user research as well, just to, because
Yes.
I don't know how it works, I mean, you'd have to look into that really,
Yeah. One thing it kind of like tells you is like how long it takes for like you give it a certain task, and it tells you how long it takes to complete this task. And I didn't do it, but I would have liked to compare that to my users to see whether or not this is just like the computer speed, or if this is kind of like based on human speed.
Sure.
I didn't test that, but I would have liked to.
Yeah. Great project. Well done.
Thank you.
Amazing feedback. Thanks, Emil. Dave, Peter, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thanks. I'll try and keep this quick. Sorry, I don't want to delay anyone. But Claire, that was really brilliant. And kudos to Val for keeping us in the same breakout rooms along the way, because just to be able to give feedback on something we've seen at an earlier stage of the progress, I think is really useful. Just to see how this has come on, because tonight for me there was much more clarity in terms of what you were doing as opposed to what we saw during the breakout rooms. And I think, I don't want to get distracted by AI or the topic of AI within this, because I think on reflection you started out by trying to create clarity, and this screen you're showing now actually kind of represents that really clearly, what your project was about, because it could be anything. It doesn't have to be AI, but the fact that you started out with the information that was important to the user, you tried to design something, you tested it and you iterated it, and then you took on feedback and you created something that was really clear. So really good kind of demonstration of UX methodology, really strong. And I asked myself, do I think you answered your problem of designing clarity in an age of AI overload? And I think you've really made huge steps towards that with the design here and the prototype. It's slick and everything. I think that's great. I have a couple of small UI interaction things. I wonder, because I was having this problem the other day designing a page with cards, and ultimately we ended up offering two designs so the user could select whether they wanted a card view or a list view. And I know that's a kind of convention that's out there as well. So maybe that's something that you could look at in the future to give the user the option of viewing.
That's a great idea. I haven't even thought of that, to be honest. But yeah,
I think it ties in with what Dave was saying about everything getting very cardy, because ultimately if you have 20 or 50, like it's just a wall of cards. And I think we looked at Adobe Creative Cloud as an example, of how they use their UI and how it responds as well. And then the last thing is, did you think about how you might use AI as a tool within the website to find the perfect AI tool?
So a couple of users during my user testings did suggest using an AI bot, where you like either for that to kind of like help you figure out what tool it is that you're actually looking for, or if you're like not sure what you actually need. And maybe that could be used as, kind of like you type in what you're looking for and then it gives you a couple of suggestions. So I could see that working. But other than that, I haven't really thought about how to incorporate AI into the website itself.
Yeah. Cool. And last one was that, sorry, I think that was the second last thing. I love that you went back to the well and did another survey. Got more research. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was great. Ricardo.
Yeah, I couldn't let Claire leave without me saying something, because I had to say something. So, I mean, I agree with all of you. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the amount of work that Claire's done. And it's, I love that she by herself just grasped onto this notion of having to drive clarity through her research. I wish I could say I helped her figure that out, but she completely figured that out on herself, which is wonderful. Also, I'm so impressed with just her work ethic. Like, she would get on calls with me and tell me, like, well, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and do this. And at points, I almost had to tell her to just, take a break. But I think it really shows, this work. This is a complex problem. And I really love what Peter said, that it's not just, okay, it's this problem, but it really shows you know how to solve a problem. And I think that's the thing you really want to take away from this, Claire. I think it shows that you've got good chops, you've got good thinking going. Quick two things I would also say is the folks at NZ Growth Capital were ringing me earlier just to know what was going on with this. So I think there's going to be definite life to this. And the page I know is going to be going live as well for it. And I feel that this demonstrates that it takes me back, since I am ancient, it takes me back to when search was first starting to get figured out by Yahoo and Google, and no one really knew what that formula was. And I think that this is another level of that now. Is it like, do we show cards? How do we show sponsoring? There's all of this kind of layering that's going on to solve that problem. But I think it's going to be necessary, because just what Dave said, I hear so much from so many professionals. I just wish there was a way to figure this out from someone that I can relate to or trust. So congratulations, Claire. Great stuff. Really impressed with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for everything you did. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for your guidance and help with this, by the way.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing all your hard work. Oh,
share my screen there, just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, amazing. No, yeah, like I actually had a list, but I think everything was covered, so I'm not going to be wasting any more time. But like, huge kudos for, in the middle of the projects, going back to your board and sending another survey. That's like a huge thing in a project. Like, the time when you feel that you need to, like, I don't have enough, I need to do it again. And not everyone does it. And you should be very, very kind of proud of yourself that you approached this project in such a way. And definitely something that you should mention in your case study, alongside, also like the fact that you tried a lot of kind of AI tools and how they worked for you, what you found out. Like, that's definitely something you can mention in your case study as well. But yeah, overall, amazing project, amazing way of working together as well. And yeah, Ricardo, thanks for reminding Claire to rest as well, because it is clear that she's done so much work, and it is clear that you guys worked so well together.
Thank you so much.
Lisa, is there anything you would like to ask or add?
No. Thank you. But I think it's very useful to hear the pros comments. So I'll.
Okay, perfect. Lola, anything from your side?
Well,
no, keep up the good work, Valentina.
I think you were impressed with what you saw, though.
Oh yeah, that presentation looks great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Amazing. Thanks so much. Melis, are you ready?
Hi, hello.
Hi. All set for tonight?
Pardon?
All set? Is everything ready?
I hope so, yes.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, let me know when you're ready to present and I'll set the timer. No worries, Ricardo. Thank you.
Can you see the...
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Melis, and my mentor is Alessia. The project that I had worked on is Partner Portal. I redesigned the Irish Enterprise Finance Partner Portal, and the portal hasn't been widely adopted, and partners often reach out to the directly finance sales support and drop out the applications and have finance support to complete the loan application instead. So from my previous presentation that I identified 2 types of persona, and based on these personas challenges is managing the complex DOM application flow where data comes from CRO, revenue, and manual input. Because the previous portal, the data of the information was spread in the different types of the phases. So I managed to structure the data of information based on CRO, revenue, and when the clients provided the information. And they struggle with the also incomplete and inconsistent and outdated data. So how I solve this problem? I reducing the cognitive load for brokers and showing transparency, compliance checks early, and design that doesn't overwhelm users or make them guess what's missing. So also I worked on the data transparency to detect the information of the data beforehand, before the application, to guide the brokers to let them know before this. And previous portal design, it's more, it was longer, and all the phases kind of like mixed to each other. So as I said earlier, I broke down the structure based on for clear separation of CRO, revenue, and client provided data. And as I said, I want the system to recognize the problematic data before, to reduce the workflow for the brokers. And I wanted to use the repeated card structure for the responsiveness of this portal. This is the testing session. I tested my prototype with a few people, and I found findings that those were very clever and beneficial for me. And these are the one of the frame that I get it tested. And this is the screen of the system portal when the portal can provide recommended financial product based on the client's information. So actually, when I got it tested, the testers were able to find the working capital loan tile card easily. And there is also here expansion. Sorry, I forgot to mention that I use the IBM carbon design system. So IBM has this kind of expansion on the tile. So I try to use this and modify it after for the iteration after the testing. And one of my friends has taken time to find this actual expansion. And this is the business information when after collecting the necessary information from the clients, the system can fetch the data from the outside API. For example, this is the card of the CRO and tax registration, and the system can recognize that if there is any changing between the data in the recently, system could import this, could give this information. And from the testing, one of my friends struggled to find the progresses component, and he expected to find the button here, because I thought that the stepper would also provide the next button for this instead of the next button. And this is the when you collected, you can see the data row, and this text seems like a button. And as I said that I used IBM Carbon Design System. IBM used this kind of like an overflow menu on the data row and open menu. One of my friends also struggled for this as well. And this is the iteration for the recommended tile component. I use this tile component for the recommended finance product. This is the screen of that finance application type. And this is the iteration that I did. I used the tag instead of, because it was understood as a kind of like a button. Overall, to summarize, I reduced the screen from 12:15 down to 6 to 7. Also, application completion time also reduced from the 20 minutes to 14 minutes. And also with data detection, I wanted to reduce to the like incomplete data from the other API. And with this data detection, the brokers don't feel like overwhelmed when they complete the application. This is the prototype. Brokers log in the portal. This is the dashboard, and the broker starts complete the application from the dashboard. And this is the business information form. When the brokers are on the phone with the clients, collect the company name by Ciara number and what number. And in this part, we should ask permission, because we will detect the data collect the data from the other sources. And we ask that their main customers, because the finance products separated based on the B2B or B2C, and the funding reason. This is the finance application type, and I bring back to the information that collected from the clients, from the borrowing details, and the system automatically recommended the finance options for them, and additional finance information here that the brokers can see and give more information for clients. And if there is any conflict, there are also other available products here. This is the business information card that's collected from the resources from API. And for example, here, if there is any problem, like a register address changes detected, and these card extensions comes here, and we can update this. And this is the director's signatures row. Here we can upload and input the PPS number and the important documentation they are required for the applications. And that's all. Yes.
You're finished.
Yeah, I think so.
You still had a few seconds there. If you wanted to, wrap up with something, do you want?
I think it's still. I will try to update some components specifically for the recommended product tile section to make it more engaged with the brokers, kind of like adding the conversation tools like an email or the phone. And the compliance check that I missed, I couldn't have time to complete the compliance checks of the process as well. So far, that's all.
Okay, Amazing. Thank you so much, Melis. That was great. It was great to see the final stage of your project. I was actually looking forward to it because in the previous presentations, we still kind of had a few things, but you managed to iron everything out in your in this presentation. So fair play to you. I have a few notes here just before everyone starts. Maybe. This was a very complex project, and it was like I do remember you showing us on one of the first occasions, like your blueprint and everything. And again, it's very clear that you've done huge amount of work, and I think also like the matter and the kind of nature of the project, it doesn't really allow you to just jump straight to it. Like you really need to understand the matter and everything. And like I also imagine, like from your side, it will be from my side as well. Like there was a learning curve as well for you to kind of get into it and to learn how these things work and to learn how everything kind of functions on both sides. So like fair play to you for putting yourself out there and make it like the best as you could do. I thought like it was also good that you used your IBM Carbon design system and the components there, because that has probably reduced your time to design and everything. So you kind of you found a way to make your life easier, and the final prototype looks amazing. And the stats were also impressive, from 12 to 15 to 6 to 7 seconds, right? And then 35% less error rate, which was amazing. So yeah, fair play to you. And again, like I thought the way that you and Alessia worked together, it was amazing. And Alessia, thank you so much for bringing in this project as well, because it was really good to have something from a finance side. And well done both of you, and well done, Melis.
Thank you.
Great stuff. I'll let Peter speak now.
Thanks a million, Val. Well done, Melis. I hadn't seen this before at all, so my learning curve was quite steep when you started out. But what I really took from that presentation was the amount of testing you did, and the difficulty or the challenging nature of that testing, because I think it said like 28 minutes for a task originally. So those tests must have been pretty arduous to go through. And I think you got some really useful feedback from the sessions and applied some really good design solutions to your iteration. So really well done on that. I don't want to take up too much time. So that's, I think just the amount of work is obvious. So well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Peter. Hannah?
I'm just going to, well done. First and foremost, I'm going to echo what Val said in terms of the complexity of this. It's incredibly detailed. So even just getting yourself familiar with the system in order to design for it is really amazing within the scope of this project to achieve what you have. Also, the way you presented your iterations, because this is for me as well, I'm fresh to this. I think I saw it in the first kind of briefing overview presentation, and I haven't seen it since. How you presented kind of the iterations of your prototype really helped me understand what you were doing as you were going. And I think that was a really great way to do that. Really clear kind of notes of what you were updating and why. So I think in terms of your kind of presentation and storytelling, I really got a sense of what you were doing and why. And then also just integrating into a system that's already existing in terms of the UI. Like you can't tell what was yours. I don't know if Alessia gave you a design system or it was all you, because I think that's a really difficult thing to do sometimes if you're new to UI design or to UX. So really well done, because it integrated really well, and all of your decision making and kind of the changes you made to the portal really sat well and fit with the existing design. So I won't take up any more time either. That's me done. Well done.
Thank you.
That was great. Thanks, Hannah. Dave?
Sure. Hi, Melis. How are you? Well done. That was great. It's incredibly ambitious and complex. Like I was looking at it, trying to get my head around the screens, and then when you're going through them, and fair play to you for taking on something like this, because it's quite overwhelming, I'd say, to work on. There's so much going on and so much to think about. But I think it did a good job. I mean, I think the UI really started coming together, and it looks really clean. It looks good. I'd probably take a look at your presentation and maybe just align some of your headings and your spacing and stuff like that could be tidied up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you should probably highlight the improvement metrics towards the end a little bit more. Like they that stand out because there's an awful lot of detail and a lot of screens, and I found myself getting lost in the screenshots and kind of missing details. So I think if you highlight the improvements you made, which are very clear, just to make them really pop a bit, I think it would help, you know. But well done, very good.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Emil, Dave. Alessia?
Yeah, perfect. Coming after last, but look, Melis, I think that there's not really much more that I could say than what the guys have said here. I think that you really have embraced a project that is really complex. The finance world in general, I have so much, how can I say, so many things to learn about, so many details and regulations and all this kind of stuff, and sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. So really well done on trying to get the project, how can I say, out in the wild and trying to make sense of it. Which is what the other guys have said already. Also, and maybe it's because I've been with you since the very first day. I do also see an improvement in your presentation. At the beginning, it was, like with the project not being super familiar, I could see you struggling a little, and now at the very end, it's like you had like a progress and improvement in your presentation. So I hope that you feel the same. And since I know it was one of your goals, I do hope that you could feel it, especially considering that in such a complex project, it is so easy to lose focus and, focusing on all the small things that are not necessarily what are the core of the project. So, yeah, I hope this was a very good exercise. I think it was a very good exercise for you in general, in terms of like how to present, how to keep focus, and how to be smart about, projects that are so complex. So yeah, Melis, really well done.
Thank you. First time I have tried this such a complex project in my life. So sometimes I felt like I was losing my focus sometimes, but thanks to you, you helped me. Your guide helped me to find the focus on the important things. Thank you so much.
Very well done, Melis.
Amazing job, girls. That's very nice. Thank you so much one more time, Melis, for presenting your work. Now we'll move on to our next presenter, Ciara. You ready?
Yeah, I'll just share my screen.
Perfect.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so my project is on return. My mentor is Hannah. So I'll just give you a brief background on the project and return. So return is Ireland's national deposit scheme. The current experience is you can donate at some of the returned machines, and you can also do it at certain events, but this is quite limited to the public. So the brief was to explore how return can extend its community impact by developing a digital donation concept that enables consumers to donate their refunds to charities and track the impact of their contributions. So for my research, I carried out a survey and I had 121 participants. I interviewed 4 users who regularly use return and return bottles and cans, and then also carried out a competitor analysis with 8 direct and indirect competitors. So I did an infinity map, and these are my key research findings that I developed in my prototype. So users want a way to digitally manage refunds across multiple stores and digitally redeem refunds. Users want to show users how their environmental contributions, a way to provide clear donation information and show donation history to build trust and encourage donating. So throughout my research, the main pain points that I came across were users, they lost their receipts. That often the receipts are for a very small amount, and they want to be able to manage them digitally. So we ended up changing the UX direction to develop a simple and engaging digital experience that lets users easily manage and redeem their refunds. So hopefully this would also guide users to donate online. So this is my prototype development. So I started by sketching, and then the one at the end here is the most up-to-date prototype. So during this process, what I was really trying to focus on is what's actually going to be included. I think this was really heavily influenced by my research, what actually ended up being included in the app. So my usability testing, my research goals were, can users understand how to redeem money and that they have different payout methods? Does the user understand how to donate, where their money is going? Does the environmental impact screen influence their motivation and understanding? And then my method was I tested for users who are familiar with return. And this was done with moderated remote usability tests. They completed a series of tasks, so donate, redeem, and interact with the personal environmental impact. And then users also completed a survey before testing, and were asked a series of questions following the test, and they also completed an SUS survey. So these are my findings after the usability testing. So for the homepage, some things that changed were available balance turned to my wallet. I think something that really came up during this project was UX writing, and like how users interacted with the app because of this. I also placed the donate and redeem button on the home screen, very obviously because this was led by user research, and then also putting a more context to the amount of items that they've recycled and also their total donations. So here we've included, like, that's as much CO2 as a tree absorbs in a full year. So having a little bit more contextual information on the home screen. Another area that I ended up improving with usability testing, we had pagination at the top of the screen, but because there was so much flows included in the prototype, it ended up kind of getting confusing. I had like a choose amount on the top of the screen, and users kind of got confused in how to use this. And then also what came up was the percentages seemed to confuse users, even though this was something that came out of my research. So then what we ended up settling on was having the wallet balance come up on screen, and then you could choose from today's refund, so €18, and then getting suggested amounts that don't have like cents included, and just small amounts. So this is the screen that you get after you've uploaded your receipt. So €18 is the refund, and what came up during usability testing was here it was donate, and a lot of users ended up thinking that they were going to donate their full amount, and so they just lost trust in the process. So we ended up changing it to be that €18 has been added to your wallet, and then users could choose amount to donate. So this, when I tested it again, this seemed to work better with users. This was another page that came up with the user testing, and people seem to have an issue with this page. So choose amount, they didn't automatically click choose amount. They ended up going straight for one of the options. And so what we ended up doing was putting in like choose amount, please click and choose amount. But users didn't really it didn't go for that again. So testing it again, I decided to split out the screens and have the wallet balance appears on the top, and then users could choose, and this seems to work better. So I'll just take you through my prototype. This is the home screen, and I'm just going to take you through the flow that users would have done to upload their receipt and then donate. So this is uploading the receipt, and then prompted with €18 has been added to your wallet, choose amount to donate. And then the user can choose €10 and choose the charity. And then you're given a confirmation screen and then confirm, and then thank you for your donation. And the user can decide to go in and look at their donation history to make sure that the transaction has gone through or return home. And then the home screen has been updated. You can now see your savings goal, and then also the bottles that you've recycled have been added to the home screen. So then I got users to go to the redeem, and they can type in the amount. And then here they have the option to choose from different payout methods. So I'm going to show you what the store voucher payout method would be like, because this kind of mirrors what the existing solution. Stores, and then a confirmation screen and generate voucher. And then you have the voucher and can either add it to your wallet or return home. So the next thing that came up during user testing or initial user research was being able to view your environmental impact. So this is a screen to be able to view your personal impact. So the user can look over time and look at the items they've returned over time. And so how this translates into water saved, CO2 saved, and energy saved. And actually through my user testing, this is something that users really liked, because it kind of reminded them of like tracking their steps or tracking other things, and would be interested in looking at this and looking at what they can track over time. So what would I do differently? I would like to further test after making the design changes from the last round of testing. I think also because this is a 0 to 1 brief, I'd love to build out more features. So have the environmental impact screen be a little bit more interactive, and see how introducing rewards would have an impact on the user and what they would choose to do with their refund. And then also test with a wider range of users. So maybe some older users where maybe the environmental impact wouldn't mean so much, but they might be more likely to donate. Thank you.
Wow, Ciara, that was amazing. I forgot to take any notes because I was so immersed in your story there. Oh, Dave, you had your hand raised. Do you want to go first? I think you're on mute, Dave.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Ciara, that was amazing. That's extremely high standard, the work there. I mean, it's one of the best I've seen in like 3 years or 2 or 3 years of doing this. Well done. Your storytelling was brilliant. I thought the way you showed the prototype evolve was really, really good. It's so simple but effective as well. And the iterations, the kind of before and after your user testing, just to see that, like, it's just so clear the way you can see the story evolve over time. You know, your UI was brilliant as well. The attention to detail. I mean, that's real, like, you know, experienced designers couldn't do that kind of quality. I think I can't fault it. It's amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Dave. Alessia?
Yeah. Ciara, same as the amazing UI and great presentation overall. I really loved your final slide of like what you would do differently. I think it's really important as a designer at the end of the project, even not only at the end, but especially at the end of the project, to stop and thinking about, okay, so what I've learned out of that, right? And so it was an amazing summary there that you put together, and I think it's amazing that you put the time on thinking about like what could have been better if you had a second chance. But regardless of that, I think it's an amazing project. I thought that you, like, even if you were saying that you would do maybe differently the impact of the environment, right? I still saw some elements of gamification there, and I thought they were really nice, a way for people to actually get more excited about doing good, right? So having that in there, it'll, I don't know, it felt really natural, you know what I mean? And it felt a bit like playing Duolingo or, you know, that kind of stuff. So it was really nice to see it there. There is just one thing on the prototype that I was really curious about, and this about like the reason why you made this particular choice, right? So you were saying that in order to collect all the amounts, right, you have to scan you start by scanning the receipt, right? Why? Like I'm curious, right? So one of the main key point for the user was to make it digital, right? So to digitalize, because people are not really comfortable with receipts. So was there a reason why you went for like scanning the receipt instead of like trying to connect the system directly to the mobile?
I think ideally it would be great, because I suppose the whole thing is it's like a sustainability action. So it would be great to be able to like scan a QR code from the machine. But I think just discussing with Hannah, it's like these machines are constantly being rolled out and they're not necessarily being updated. So the current solution is that they're going to give you a paper receipt. I think it would be great in the future if that was a QR code that you could just scan, or you could scan something off the machine. But right now, that's the current solution, and that's what we're looking at.
I see. So it's like an application that is like for the return scheme, but it's not necessarily like making any changes in the system as it goes out. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Well, again, really well done, Ciara. Thank you for taking the time to explain this to me, and very well done again.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Thanks, Melis. Yeah. Peter?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Ciara, well done. Amazing amount of work. And as Dave said, the fidelity and the craftsmanship in the UI is like really high. So congrats. I think just tagging on from what Alessia was asking, I was wondering that as well. You know, there's a clear paper kind of buffer between the two digital sides.
Yeah.
But in some respects, we here in UX3 have a bottomless bucket full of money, and we have loads of time. So I'd be interested to see how you could just add that as an option. You know, this is how you could improve the entire service return. You know, just try and remove the paper trail. Here's an option in an ideal world.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good suggestion. Thanks, Peter. Hannah?
I just want to say well done, Ciara. You've been an absolute pleasure to work with over the last few months. You came to every session we had with a really clear outline of how you were going to use the time and questions to ask me. And the majority of the time you had it figured out as already. You just needed me to say yes or no and give you kind of a little bit of a push or a bit of confidence. And can I also just point out that last week during this testing, Ciara moved from New York back to Ireland. So how this project has progressed from like Wednesday of last week when I saw it to Friday to today is honestly remarkable, that you managed to do that as well as get this done, because I know the end of it was a bit of a time crunch for you and there's a lot of stuff you wanted to explore that you didn't get a chance to, but there's nothing stopping you from evolving this more for it to be a bigger part of your portfolio than what you've done for this presentation, for your case study. You know, you can absolutely explore that environmental impact section and gamify it and kind of go more in depth into your research and figure that out and make it something that's really, really strong. So I just want to say well done.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, once again, fair play to you, Ciara, for all the hard work. Like it's an amazing project. And as Dave said, and the guys, like the fidelity is just amazing. And like at some point in your presentation, you mentioned UX writing and how kind of that was such a huge thing in this project. And what I loved as well in your kind of your screens you didn't really show a lot of kind of visual difference, but like just the visual in copy made such a difference to the end user, which is amazing. And I think it's a brilliant thing also to have that in your kind of case study and show it, because it does show the value of it. Yeah, nothing else to add. Brilliant, both of you. No, that was great. Like every time after these sessions, I just feel so like charged up and everything, because again, it's so good. Like all three of you guys, like I mean, all six of you, Claire, Melis, Ciara, and your mentors. Ricardo is he dropped off, but like Alessia and Hannah, like it's brilliant the work that you've done together, and yeah, it's so inspiring to see it every year. I'll be closing this session soon, so like once again, thank you so much for joining the call, and all the mentors who gave their feedback tonight. Like that was brilliant as well, and I think it's so helpful not only for mentees on the call, but like for everyone else to always hear your expertise and everything that you have to say. It's brilliant. And thank you one more time to, as I said, Ricardo, for bringing the real project brief from New Zealand government, Alessia from Grid Finance, and Hannah from Teneo. It's great to see like how, because like Lisa, you will probably remember in our previous rounds, we had like a mix between like real projects and also like the projects that mentees could just come up with. But in this round, all of our projects were kind of real life projects. And I know that, you know, approaching it from mentee sides is much more difficult to just like, you know, be given what you are given and work between the constraints and everything that are given to you in a design brief. And I know it wasn't easy. Because when I compare this round of mentorship program, which is a 9th round, and also the first round that we had, like there's such a huge difference in the quality of work and in the way that you guys are approaching it. It's just brilliant. So you should be all very, very proud of yourselves, because like this is amazing. Like this is not junior designers' work. This is something that like, you know, you should be proud of also, like, you know, putting on your portfolio and presenting in your interviews, because it's brilliant. That's all from my side. I'm not going to be wasting too much of your time. Does anyone have anything else to add? Any questions? No?
No.
Well, thank you so much for your time tonight once again. Lisa, did you want to add something?
No, I just wanted to say well done to everyone. I feel like, yes, well, by the comments that the mentors have given, these are all very high level projects, so it's great. And thank you, Valentina, for obviously all the hard work that you do in the background too. So yeah, well done, everyone.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in person next week, or the following week, sorry. And yeah, I'll be sharing also this recording with Zoe. She's a recruiter in Morgan McKinley. So yeah, do reach out if you have any questions or anything. Like, you know, I know when this round is finished, now you're going to start working on your case study and everything, but do reach out if at any point you need an advice on you know, job interviews or whatever. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy your night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.